Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining today. You'll see on your screen you have reached the informational webinar for the upcoming program here at Northwestern Kellogg Executive Education. We're going to be learning all about B2B marketing, growth strategies for your organization. We are joined here today by two expert speakers and the course faculty who designed this program here to tell us all about it. First, we have with us Kent Grayson, an associate professor of marketing, and Bernice and Leonard Levin professorship at the Kellogg School of Management. We also have Jonathan Kopolsky with us, lecturer of marketing, program director of business marketing strategy in the executive education here at Kellogg School of Management. I'm going to invite both of our professors, Grayson and Kopolsky, into the share screen here. Would love to hear from you both. Good to have you. I would love to greet the audience and hand it over to you. Maybe we'll start with you, Kent. Thanks for being here with us. Would you like to say hello?
Yeah, hi there. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to telling more about this course, which Jonathan and I have worked on all the last summer. We really enjoyed working on it together, and I think you can see that in the material that we've created together.
Thanks so much for being here. Professor Kopolsky, would love to hear from you as well.
Yes, good day to everybody who's on the call and joining us remotely. And like Kent, we worked hard to put together what we think is a great program focused on B2B marketing, and look forward to having an opportunity to share the content with you. We'll give you a preview today and lots more to come.
Absolutely. There's a lot in store here, so please do stay on the line with us as we talk more about this program and hear from both of our course faculty who, as they mentioned, have designed this program, using what they know about B2B marketing strategy to make that accessible and available across the globe. So a great honor to have you both here. So a lot in store as you think about exploring this program. You're part of this broader ecosystem here at Northwestern Kellogg Executive Education. So we want to stop and take a moment to formally welcome you to this worldwide learning community of over 250,000 career professionals who are dedicated to lifelong learning. Here at Kellogg, you'll see, and many of you know this already, but Kellogg's MBA program has consistently been ranked #1 in marketing by US News World and Report. So you've really reached the very best as you seek to explore these themes. You're going to be learning from the same marketing thought leaders that teach in the MBA program. Here are course faculty to tell us about the program. It's a very engaging program where you have an opportunity to sit face-to-face with a full team of advisors, faculty, and peers, helping you to really make real-world application out of your knowledge. There is a capstone project here in this program, tangible takeaways that allow you to apply your knowledge, apply the skills again and again. You'll have case study examples helping you to analyze different aspects of B2B marketing strategy in order to lift insights, see what worked, what didn't work, and map that onto your own organization, your own profession. So this is a deep skills building program with world-class faculty and thought leadership. We have a lot more to tell you about it. But firstly, as you think about B2B marketing strategy overall, this course is really designed to help you to bring this learning into a place of real-world action that allows you to create lasting change in your organization and in your industry. So we know change is the only constant in B2B marketing. This is one of the things that the Gartner Trends report concluded. Change is accelerating at a faster rate. And we can see some of the stats here on our screen. There are over 500,000 job postings here with B2B marketing listed in the skills. 90% of sales and marketing professionals report a misalignment in terms of strategy, process, culture, and content as they think about B2B strategy in their organizations. So there's certainly a lot of need for this, a lot of growth in the market. 80% of marketing organizations report having a B2B marketing automation platform deployed. So learning these tools and skills, there's never been a better time to be exploring these themes. This course was designed to help you make practical use of your learning in order to advance your career. So we're thinking about job skills, we're thinking about what's relevant as we've built this program. That's one of the reasons why you have a playbook on B2B marketing here. That's what you'll be taking away, this tangible guide that you can use again and again that gives you that holistic picture of the full scope and value of B2B marketing. So you will be an expert here when you leave this program, and you'll have those tools to apply your knowledge again and again. I won't go through all of the themes here. We're going to leave that to our faculty to tell us more about the program topics. But as you're thinking about this course, we know the reason why you're here today is to better understand if this program is right for you. So as you think about who this program was designed for, we really had sales managers, key account managers looking to better improve that alignment between marketing and sales, marketing managers, including professionals who are making that shift from B2C over to B2B environments, looking for those proven tools and frameworks to help them make that shift. And of course, department heads and senior leaders without that marketing specific background, who need to deepen their understanding in order to advance change. And so these are the basic areas that we had in mind. But as you're thinking about program fit, let us know in the question box if you're curious about whether or not this program is going to meet the needs of your organization, your industry, the challenges you're looking at. With that, it is now time for me to hand over the spotlight to our course faculty, just to give you a chance to get to know them both a little bit more. You'll see here Professor Grayson. He does teach in the Kellogg Business Marketing Program for Executives since 2004. He earned the Chair's Core Teaching Award. So in addition to his research and his practitioner knowledge, he's a teacher. He's thinking about ways in which these themes can be broadly disseminated and applied. So he was a 6-time in marketing at Kellogg. Oh, he won the award 6 times, my apologies, and was a finalist for Kellogg's Professor of the Year in 2010. A lot more to explore here, so we hope you'll come back and take a look at your faculty bio, get to know your faculty a little bit further here. We're going to be sharing out the slides after today, so you'll have a chance to come and take a more detailed look. But certainly as you think about pulling together this online environment where we all have a chance to learn shoulder to shoulder, it's important that we get to know one another. So we hope to give you an opportunity to do that as well. Now's a great chance to jump into the chat, say hello, introduce yourself as we're learning more about one another. Joined here with us as well is Professor Jonathan Kopolsky, an innovative marketing leader. He's a growth strategist with over 40 years of experience working at the intersection of brand marketing strategy, content marketing, and marketing technology. So a lot more there as you think about the different articles and research involved. We encourage you to come back and take a look. But I will also invite both of our professors to join in with us now to give us sort of your own personal narrative about your background and what brought you to this program and what brought you to designing this program. This time, I think I'll hand it over to you, Professor Kopolsky, to take us away. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Marie. And hello again. So as Kent will tell you a little bit of background about how we came up with the course, but both of us have been involved for a number of years in teaching a face-to-face program that run at Kellogg Executive Education. And one of the things that we have found is many people in business-to-business marketers are what we call accidental marketers. They may have been great in sales, they may have been great in engineering and product development, they may have been great in any number of functions other than marketing. And so we look at this program, as well as our face-to-face program, as an opportunity to jumpstart your skills as a marketer. And as Marie said, we'll talk to people who are outside of marketing, maybe leaning more and more into marketing, as well as people suddenly find themselves in a position where somebody's asked them to take on leadership of marketing in a B2B environment. So we will go, as Marie said, from A to Z in terms of trying to equip you to get started rapidly. And if you are an experienced B2B marketer, kind of hone your game with a couple of tools. We work hard in this program to give you some specific frameworks that you can take with you and use in your day-to-day life as a marketing leader. And we think that will help you accelerate your progress in talking to your peers and your cohort. Ken?
Yeah, Jonathan is the one who came up with the term accidental marketer, and it really does describe the kind of people who show up on our program. And Jonathan, I think you'll agree, that's even people who have been in a marketing role at a B2B company for 6 or 8 years. They have been doing well. They have been, because they have good intuition and they have good sales experience or good engineering experience. But this course can crystallize and formalize some of the things that they've been doing by instinct, and that helps people even with more experience up their game. When Jonathan and I developed this course, we wanted to make sure that it was going to be especially helpful for people who are trying to advance their careers, whether that means advancing their careers by switching over into marketing and doing well, or advancing their careers because they've been in marketing for a while and they really want to show that they can deliver company value even more than they have. And as Jonathan said, we've been teaching a business marketing course face-to-face for many years. And so we had a good sense of what kinds of skills would help people to advance and accelerate their career. But to be sure that we were teaching the right things, we partnered with Emeritus to identify the skills that job postings on LinkedIn are asking for B2B marketers. So we used electronic means to collect all the job descriptions on LinkedIn, and we sifted through them all, and we identified the top skills that companies across the board are looking for when they're asking for B2B marketers. And that's how we designed the course. By the way, it confirmed in most cases that we're teaching the right thing on the Kellogg course, but we made sure to emphasize those things in this course.
Thank you so much for being here to tell us about this program and give us that history and that background and how you've put this program together. So we're going to hand it back over to our professors to tell us more about the guest speakers involved in this program. So in addition to our course faculty, we've brought in these expert voices to talk about their areas of specialty. So I'd love to hear more about these guest speakers, Professor Kopolsky.
Absolutely. So in addition to hearing from Kent and me over the course of this program, we've also have 3 guest speakers. You can see their names right here, but all of them are currently practitioners focused on B2B marketing. And just to emphasize, the examples that we will use in this class are all B2B. You're not going to hear us talking about B2C companies. You're not going to hear us talking about, what kind of ads people are running, for beer on the Super Bowl or anything like that. We'll be talking about B2B. When and if we do talk about B2C, it's more to show how more and more B2B companies are becoming like B2C in terms of the kinds of techniques that they're using. Aditya, who's our first speaker, will talk to us specifically about demand generation, as will our third speaker, and Lindell, who's currently working as a consultant, but has been a senior marketer in a number of different organizations, will talk quite a bit about the collaboration and capabilities needed in marketing. If we go to our third speaker is Victoria. Both Aditya and Victoria are alums of the Kellogg MBA program, and she has spent all of her professional career focused on chemical and engineering marketing, and she'll be talking to us specifically about how to develop a capability for companies who may not necessarily have come from a marketing background, but where they're discovering that marketing and digital are increasingly more important to them.
Thank you. So let's go right into that program overview. I know we have a lot to learn here. What were some of those overarching takeaways that you had in mind that you wanted to be sure students walked away from this program with?
Well, certainly, as we start at the top there, it's important if you're in a marketing role at a company, one of the first things you need to understand is how on board is the organization, and especially senior leadership. How on board are they with marketing thinking? How much have they bought into the kinds of thinking that we talk about on this program? One of the things that this program will put participants in a position when they're done is to be able to say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, my company is a 6, and here's how we can get to an 8. But many people may find that their company's only at a 2 or a 3, and being able to move your company up that ladder is an important skill set that you're going to need to have so that the people in your organization are more open to the kinds of proposals that you're going to make. Jonathan, you want to take the second one, apply?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, we're going to go from strategy to principles to tools. We'll make sure we teach you the kinds of terminology that's important, and we'll try and balance between strategies and tactics so that we can help you walk away from this program with an actionable plan of how to move marketing forward once we have a good understanding of where you sit relative to what looks like world class.
So you'll be able to, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jonathan, you go.
No problem. As part of that, we'll also talk about defining what the role is that you as a B2B marketer should play within your organization and describe, as Ken said, why marketing matters more than ever in today's world for B2B organizations. And what we have found in our individual consulting practices and our teaching and our interactions with B2B executives is many of the organizations that we deal with have come to us because they say, we need to get some advice about how we go from 0 to 60 quickly when it comes to marketing, because all of a sudden we're no longer just sales driven, we're no longer focused on products, but we need to have better understanding of customers and better understanding of how to build strong brands, how to build great customer experiences, how to also build insights into customer behaviors and needs and wants and preferences. And we'll talk about all of that in the program. Ken?
An important aspect of this program is, of course, not just learning the frameworks, not just watching videos of Jonathan and me talking about the frameworks, but letting you roll up your sleeves and actually applying the frameworks with B2B focused examples and case studies. That's really how you learn. Jonathan and I know from teaching overall, but also the face-to-face B2B program. It's not just here's the framework, good luck. It's here's the framework, let's work together on how to apply the framework. I'll just say one last, go ahead, Tony, you go. That last point is take a holistic approach to B2B marketing based on foundational definitions and applications. That's putting everything together within the context of the business overall. Marketing plays an important role. You have to know how to be a marketer, but then you have to know how marketing fits into the larger organizational structure and why marketing contributes to company value overall. Why it's important, for example, to be able to speak a little bit about finance terms, which you're going to learn on the course so that you can interact with the finance people and understand how marketing needs to interact with, for example, operations in order to be successful. Any last observations, Jonathan, about the takeaways?
Yes, as both of us have spoken to as we've gone through this slide, what we're learning, what we see, what our students tell us is that part of the role of the marketer in a B2B organization is being an advocate for what kind of role can marketing play to advance the organization forward and focus on driving profitable growth for this organization. And what we've also have heard and seen and experienced personally is that many B2B organizations, if you ask the senior leadership in that organization, what's the role of marketing? They don't quite know. They'll certainly talk about revenue growth. They'll certainly talk about profitable revenue growth, but they may have difficulty articulating that before. And that's frankly because this is a very different world than what it was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago for B2B organizations. And many of those organizations are now finding themselves in a world in which the competition is more fierce, digital matters more, and building strong brands that are relevant to consumers and customers and focusing on outcomes, not just on products, is what's going to move the needle for those organizations.
Absolutely. Thank you both. And I'll just add to that, this is not a massive open online course where you simply are going to learn more about strategies that work. But as both of our professors have highlighted here, this course really challenges you to interact with your learning, to apply your learning as you go in real time. We know that the half-life of skills today is about 5 years, technical skills about 2.5 years, meaning that the skills required today to achieve effective change and transformation within your profession and in your organization, those are going to be obsolete within 5 years. And so really continuing along a lifelong learning journey, such as this program here, allowing you to stay ahead of the trends, the ways in which things are changing, and really help to apply these concepts in real time in order to stay relevant. So that's what this program is going to allow you to do. Interact in real time with a cohort of faculty, peers, and others who we'll introduce later on, really to help you to get that individualized pathway as you seek to bring these strategies into life. So with that, let's learn more about these individual modules. I'm going to hand it back over to our course faculty to tell us more about the curriculum that you've designed here.
Great. Thanks, Marie. Well, the first module starts with the kinds of things that Jonathan and I were talking about just a moment ago, understanding the role of marketing and understanding that one of the most important jobs of a marketer is to help a company understand the customer landscape. If you look at job descriptions in a company, it's the marketer whose number one job is customer insight, for example, and customer segmentation. What that means is that because customers differ in a marketplace, we know we have to offer different products to different types of customers because they want different functionality or they want to achieve different goals with the products that we may be selling. And it's up to the marketer to help the company understand, hey folks, if you really want to understand the customer market, here's a really strategically powerful way to understand that this customer wants this customer wants that, this customer wants that. That's a foundation that sets companies up to do all the rest of the things that we're going to be talking about in the program. So that's what Module 1 does. It expands on that important principle of markets, which is that customers differ, and the important role that marketers play in terms of helping companies strategically take advantage of that fact better than the competition. Then in Module 2, we talk about understanding the context. And really, that's about information gathering, not just about the context, but also about the customers. So we talk in that module about how to do effective market research, how to understand the difference between certain kinds of market research and why certain types of research are better than others. Then we talk about what is a customer insight? In other words, how do we know that we're understanding customers in a strategically helpful way? That is the foundation for the next thing, which is market segmentation there. Market segmentation can only be done if we have a true understanding of customers and customer insight. And then finally, maybe the most important step, but it can't be done without the other steps beforehand, is to try to assess the value of targeting different segments. Will this segment be better just because it's bigger? Well, not necessarily. If we don't have an insight, if we don't have a product that addresses customers in that larger segment, it may be more profitable for us to target a smaller segment where we get a higher conversion. So that's Module 2. Let's talk about Module 3. You may have heard, especially if you're working in marketing right now, that one job of marketers is to create what's called a go-to-market strategy, or sometimes it's called GTM. There's a lot of different points of view about what a GTM is. And in our view at Kellogg, sometimes GTM strategies are way too long. They have tens and tens of slides where people are going into all the details of, oh, I found this table, I found this research. What this course will help you to do is provide a succinct summary of what your go-to-market strategy is, with clear performance indicators and a confident understanding of whether and how you're going to get to those performance indicators. So an important element of a GTM or go-to-market strategy is developing value propositions and creating a marketing plan. And here again, you may have heard the term value proposition like GTM. There's a lot of definitions for value proposition, and there's a lot of words that people use: brand proposition, unique selling point. We're going to help you sort through all of that word salad and get to the ability to be able to present a clear plan in a concise way that's going to convince decision makers at your company to invest in your plan. So modules 1, 2, and 3 are about understanding the role of marketing in the company and creating marketing strategy, which is very high level. Here's the customer landscape. Here's how we're going to compete in the customer landscape. But then the rest of the program is, okay, we've got our strategy. How are we going to start to implement tactics that accomplish the strategy, that allow us to achieve the key performance indicators that we have developed in our GTM or go-to-market strategy? So in module 4, one of the tactics we talk about is pricing. How do we develop a pricing strategy that allows us to deliver on the positioning that we have, but also allows us to deliver profitably? And here's where we start to introduce some of the quantitative skills. For example, understanding price elasticity. You're going to understand through a quantitative exercise, what is price elasticity? How can I apply it in my understanding as a role as a marketer? But how can I also talk about pricing with salespeople who, as you know, they really care about pricing, and they really sometimes resist what the company may encourage them to do in terms of pricing. Now, there's lots more tactics that you have to implement in addition to pricing as you deliver against your go-to-market strategy. And that's where I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan to talk about the tactics that he addresses in the program. Module 5.
Excellent. Thank you, Kent. So as Kent suggested, we're going to start with the role of marketing. We'll then start to talk a bit more about customer insights, demand generation. We'll talk about go-to-market. We'll talk about value proposition. We'll talk about pricing. The last 4 modules are going to get a little bit more tactical. And modules 5 and 6 are really talking about demand generation and lead generation. And we're going to give you a chance to evaluate what you're currently doing and how you can improve that. Now, I'm going to use some terms in these modules, and these terms get used differently by different organizations. But for the purpose of this course, we're going to talk about demand generation as building awareness for your products, building awareness of your company, building credibility in the space in which you want to compete. We'll talk about lead generation of taking that awareness and translating that into ready to buy, people who are in markets, customers who say, I want your product, and I'm looking at your product, I'm looking potentially at other products. And when I talk about product, I'm talking about both products as well as services. So we'll talk about building awareness, building credibility, helping to qualify yourself. So at the moment that companies become in market, ready to buy, that you are on their consideration list. And then how do you take those leads and turn those into demand, which then turns into sales and revenues. As part of this, I'll give you a framework to think about what's the difference between demand generation versus lead generation. Where do your current set of offerings fall in terms of we need to do a better job of qualifying ourselves versus we need to do a better job of converting? We'll talk about a process of going from awareness building through conversion and after sales handling, and how to position your product. So we'll take you through a framework for that. Once we do that, then we'll start to talk about the criteria that you use for qualifying leads. So how do you go from potential leads to marketing qualified leads to then sales qualified leads? We'll talk about how you might score and nurture those leads. We'll talk about the handoff between demand generation and lead generation. We'll talk about the customer journey from the customer's perspective, and then we'll help you to build at least one campaign using a template that we use in a number of our courses, so that you can think about what the campaign is, what the intentions are, what the assets are that you need to support that, what will be the metrics that you use in association with that campaign. So demand generation and lead generation. Then module 7, we'll turn a little bit and talk about the tools to support that, and specifically the technology infrastructure. Now, I teach a course, a full quarter course on marketing technology. So what I've tried to do for the purpose of this module is to condense that down to a relatively short set of videos, but with the same intention of helping you to understand what are the key elements to a marketing technology platform or stack. So when we talk about a MarTech stack, what are the components of it? Specifically, what are the components that are most relevant to B2B? I'll give you a tool to assess where you currently stand, both in terms of technology, in terms of processes, and overall organizational maturity for using those tools. We'll talk specifically about account-based marketing, both in terms of the concept, but also in terms of the technology platforms that support that. And then we'll talk a little bit of time about emerging marketing technologies and some of the things that get exciting for me when I think about what's ahead, because as Marie alluded to before, the half-life in terms of skills, maybe 5 years. The half-life in terms of technology, I think, is even shorter. So we'll hear about all kinds of technology. The hot buzzword right now is generative AI, and we'll talk a little bit about that, both in this session and then in our face-to-face session. And then we'll help you create an action plan for how you can improve your organization's use of marketing technology. Finally, in Module 8, we will talk about your path forward. So how do you take all the concepts, all the frameworks, all the issues that Ken and I have discussed, and then really think about where, as a marketer, you're going to lean into. And there's a framework that we use, it's called Marketing DNA, and it talks about the different places where marketing can play in an organization. And it's based upon work with literally hundreds of organizations about what constitutes great marketing. And it will be a tool that you can use both to assess yourself, to assess your organization, but also to communicate to your leadership team about why you're focusing on the things that you are focusing on. Because you only have so many hours in a day, and we can't do everything. So where we make a difference is what Marketing DNA is intended to do. And then we'll try to translate to specific steps that you can take to enable your marketing transformation and become more agile. And then we'll build a marketing action plan about advancing your goals over a 30, 60, and 90-day time period. Now, as part of this, if we go on to the next slide, we've got a capstone project. And the capstone project is really building that action plan. And the goal of that action plan, which you'll have an opportunity to work with the other people in the cohort in the course, is really to give you something that you can take to your leadership team or take to your colleagues. So we want to help you to create a schedule over a 3-month period of time, to build a vision that you can test, and a series of pilot programs that you can launch, and then get feedback on that from the course facilitators. So the capstone is really to take all the concepts, all the strategies, all the issues that we've talked about, and turn those into something actionable, which gives you really your marching orders about how you move the organization forward, but also provides a vehicle for you to communicate with your colleagues, your peers, and your leadership team. As part of the course, if we go on to the next slide, we use a number of case studies. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time on a case study, my former organization, Deloitte, about some of the processes that we went through to become a more agile organization and what we're trying to do in terms of transforming the marketing organization in terms of people, culture, structure, and process. And you'll get a tool that you can use to assess yourself relative to that, and then go through the same kind of assessment that we went through at Deloitte. But that's one of a number of examples we'll use. We'll talk about companies like Caterpillar and Ecolab and McKinsey and PwC and Procter & Gamble and GE Additives, and we'll talk about Salesforce and Amazon. So you'll have lots of examples to see real world companies, what they're doing and where they're struggling, but also where they're performing well. And then you can start to match your organization in terms of what can I learn from these and what can I apply. And as people sometimes say, don't look for the differences, but look for the similarities. It's not to suggest that we can take what a Deloitte or a Caterpillar or Ecolab has done and pour it wholesale to your organization, but we may be able to find threads that when we put together makes a unique and differentiated structure, culture, people, and process for your organization. If we move forward, I'm going to turn it back to Marie, who's going to talk a little bit about what the learning experience looks like in this program.
Thank you again to both of our professors here, Kapolsky and Grayson, for being here and taking us through this program content. And thank you for designing this program. There's never been a better time, and these tools and strategies are going to help create tremendous growth across the globe. So thank you for putting this course together. Let's talk about the learning experience. How is this course delivered? What is that tactical day-to-day experience like? At the beginning of each module, you can think of a module as a week. So at the beginning of each week, we release a set of content, including these video lectures, these short on-demand videos. They're brief 5 to 7 minute clips. You can watch them again and again as many times as you need to. These are pre-recorded by our course faculty, Professors Kapolsky and Grayson, really outlining the core concepts. Guest speakers are brought into these as well. You'll step away from these on-demand videos, and as mentioned, you're going to roll up your sleeves and engage in the act of learning. And you do that through a variety of different exercises and assignments, discussion polls, opinions. There are live webinars, there are live sessions with faculty, real world exercises that challenge you to apply your learning All of this while doing case study analysis, really helping to lift key insights from these corporations described here, working towards that capstone project that gives you that tangible playbook, that takeaway that you can apply again and again. So at the beginning of each week, you'll get those videos, you'll get that content. You can watch those videos on your own schedule. Most of the content is asynchronous, allowing you to be in cadence with your peers, but designing an individual daily schedule. You can try and find that 4 to 6 hour window within your week to dedicate to the course, and you can choose a schedule that works for you. For the live synchronous learning components, faculty webinars such as this one here, they are all recorded and put into the platform and made available on demand for the remainder of the course. So even if you have to miss a live session, you'll be able to have that simulated live experience and maintain the ability to stay on track with your peers. So we've made this program convenient, we've made it accessible, and we've brought this content to you in a way that allows you to learn and apply as you go in real time with various layers of teaching and learning and engagement. We want to make sure that your learning experience, in addition to being convenient and interactive, is also engaging and relational. So we want to make sure it's individualized as you discover niche areas of interest. We want to ensure that you have someone, a leading expert you can reach out to. So we've called into the program program leaders. These are industry experts who have been selected to come into this course and serve as your teaching guides. They give you individualized feedback on all of your assignments. They're on the discussion boards with you and your peers, helping to push engagement, to push your thinking, to drive the interactions in the program. They host office hours. This is a chance for you to talk about current themes and topics that you're working on within your organization. If you want additional resources about a certain topic area, you can come into office hours and ask your program leader. You can also engage in discussions with your peers as you explore your learning throughout the program. So this program is going to allow you to have many different layers. I'm a visual person. I think of it as concentric circles. You have yourself at the center, learning this content and how it applies to your geography, your industry and professional role. You have your peers giving you that broadened scope of understanding as you see these themes coming to life for them and their industries. You have your program leaders really at the helm of your day-to-day learning, your course faculty here guiding us through developing this content, staying involved through live faculty sessions, and then of course this broader community here at Kellogg School of Management. So a lot of opportunity for you to broaden your professional network, gain those mentors, those global advisors here in this program. Another sort of takeaway in addition to that expanded professional network is a chance to formalize your training and earn a credential here from Northwestern Kellogg. This is a digital certificate that showcases your learning and expertise in this area of B2B marketing growth strategies for your organization. And certainly for those of you looking to springboard into career advancement opportunities, having this credential will go a long way in helping you to do that. So you have the learning in the program, you have the relationships you'll build, you have a focus around helping you to advance this knowledge and have real world application, all while building your career and advancing your own lifelong learning. So this course is really that holistic approach to learning. We want to make sure it's convenient for you as you seek to learn more. So everything you need is on the course website. That's the next step here. We invite you to go over to the course website. There's a couple of things you can do there. One click away, you can schedule a call with a program advisor. We use an app called Calendly, where you just select a time that works for you in your time zone, and you'll get that phone call. That'll give you a chance to talk through some questions related to course logistics. You might be wondering, when does the program begin? Or perhaps you're wondering, when are those faculty live sessions? I want to get them on my calendar. Maybe you have a question about the evaluative criteria for the program. How do I earn that certificate of completion? How are exercises graded? Your program advisors can walk you through these sort of logistical and course policy details. They can also help you with the registration and enrollment process. So if you're interested in learning more about our flexible and transparent payment options, special group enrollment pricing, our robust referral system, our generous 21-day refund policy, they can help walk you through those details as well. So our course website is the next best connect for you. You can schedule a call there with an advisor. You can begin your application. You can also download download the course brochure, which is everything that we've talked about here today and more. It's beautifully designed in a comprehensive overview of this course. So if you're looking to study ahead and you want to know, how can I learn more before the course begins, go ahead and get that brochure, and it'll help prepare you for what you can expect. With that, however, we've reached the end of our session here. I'd love to invite our course faculty back into the frame here. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you pick up the link there on your screen. You can also open your chat box. You'll see a link listed in the chat box that will take you over to the course website. You can also stay on with us, and we will advance you to that course website once we close out the session. So a lot of different ways to get over there, but that's your next step. With that, I'm going to invite our faculty back in to the frame for any closing remarks. I'll start with you, Professor Grayson. Would love to hear any final words of wisdom or thoughts that you'd like to share to participants who are interested in joining this program.
If you're a B2B marketer, if you're about to enter the role of B2B marketing and you want practical and applicable ways to improve your performance, this is the course for you. We've designed it for you. We're excited about the opportunity to teach it, and we think you'll get a lot out of it.
Thank you, Professor Grayson, for being here. It's been an honor to learn from you today. Professor Kopolsky, over to you.
Yes, thanks for joining us today. As Kent suggested, we reverse engineered the content of this course based upon the research that we did with Emeritus to identify what are the skills that are most important to B2B marketers. And from that base, that's how we built out these 8 modules that we described a few minutes ago. We believe, and based on the feedback that we've gotten from people that we've shared this program with, that those are the things that will help you to accelerate your career, as well as help you to accelerate the role and the impact of marketing in your organization. So we're quite excited about this, and it's been a fun journey for us as we've developed this course, and we're looking forward to interacting with you in our live sessions over the duration of the course. And feel free to hook up with me on LinkedIn, and both of us publish quite a bit. You're welcome to take a look at what we've published and what we're thinking about, because this is a topic which is near and dear to both our hearts. And I will put in another plug for B2B marketing is similar, but quite different than B2C marketing. And this course is all about B2B marketing, and it's an opportunity to deal with some of the issues that are unique to B2B marketing that if you listen to a conversation about consumer marketing, you just will never hear people talk about, at least, and including big topics like, well, how do I interact with my sales organization? How do I interact with my engineering organization? And so forth. And so that's why we've tried to build this program around the unique needs of people who are both in market as B2B marketers, as well as people who aspire to become better B2B marketers. So thanks for joining us on this journey.
Thank you so much, Professor Kopolsky, as well. To those of you still with us, of course, this program, as you can see here, was thoughtfully designed, every component, to ensure that the learnings allow you to have that impact. And it's also built around relationships. And certainly we know that's true in B2B marketing and B2C marketing, and here in this course as well, allowing you to learn from one another and gain that tapestry of ideas as you see these themes and concepts coming to life in this global learning environment. So thank you for your passion towards lifelong learning. Thank you for your interest in this program. To our audience, it's been an honor learning shoulder to shoulder with you here today. We want to make sure that that high level of support that we talk about in the program begins right here today with getting connected with an advisor. So certainly go on over to the website and get connected if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, we hope to see you back in the program beginning just around the corner. But for now, we will be signing off with a heartfelt good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to all of you from around the globe. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.